Hey everyone, it's Chanel Wagner, your Queens and Jeans intern here, and I have a really special guest with me today. All the way from Australia, I have Dakota Michael. Uh, you're gonna have to help me on this one. I've butchered it all day today.
It's Dakota Michaelis.
Michaelis, yes.
Yeah.
You're Miss Rodeo Australia 2018. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Dakota?
All right, thank you. Hi, guys. My name is Dakota Michaelis. I'm the 2018 Miss Rodeo Australia. I come from South Australia, so the bottom of Australia. The rodeo I supported was Peterborough, so it's way out in the country. I've been rodeoing since I was 5. I compete in barrel racing and breakaway, and now I've chucked the title on top as well.
Well, that's amazing. It's always good to have that rodeo background as that rodeo queen. And from talking to you a little bit before, this was kind of your first contest, big
Yeah,
contest, right? Awesome. Well, why
yes.
don't you tell us a little bit about that? So we were talking earlier, and in Australia, their competitions aren't competitions. They're called quests. They're a little different from what we're used to over here.
Yeah, that's 100%. So ours definitely aren't as big, and this was my first ever. If you head up more to Queensland, the top of Australia, on the eastern side, they have a lot of quests and rodeos. They have little princesses and tiny tots as well. Down in South Australia, this was the first one that they'd ever ran, allowing me to enter into Miss Rodeo Australia. Um, Peterborough were kind enough to talk to our Australian Professional Rodeo Association, which is the association that I run under, in getting me involved so that I could have an opportunity to be Miss Rodeo Australia.
That's great. So, talking with you and learning a little bit about how the Rodeo Australia circuit works was pretty interesting. And you were just recently crowned. And so, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you did in your competition?
Yeah, no worries. So I was crowned on the 19th of just January, just gone. And so ours is only over 3 days. So prior to that, we all support a rodeo. So I was Miss Rodeo Peterborough, and I was against 5 other girls, which is definitely a lot smaller than your competitions over there. So we all flew in on the Thursday night and got to know each other. Friday, we got to go in around to 2 retirement villages and speak to a lot of people in there, which was really exciting. We learned a lot about people that used to rodeo from Queensland, and ours was in Warwick, Queensland. That's where it was held. So I trekked up there the day before. That night, we had the opportunity to, well, they called it a Cowgirls and Canapes night. We got to do a speech, talk about ourselves, so the judges and people got to know us, also talk about our charity because we got to raise money for the year. My charity was the Epilepsy Foundation, and I chose that because I give horse riding lessons to beginners of all ages, but mostly children. One of the girls that I was giving lessons to at the age of 12, she'd been suffering from epilepsy since the age of 4, and when she was with me, she went through major brain surgery to alleviate the pain. And so she's come out on the other side, which is really exciting. But that was very close to my heart. So that's why I picked the Epilepsy Foundation. So that was our Friday night. We got to do speeches, mingle with the judges, any sponsors that were there, which was really cool. The Saturday morning, we started quite early for our horsemanship. So we got half an hour to spend with a horse that was drawn from a hat. And I was lucky enough to have a horse called Dakota, which was a rope horse, which was really cool for me because I rope as well. So her and I got along really well. We had half an hour. We'd had our patterns for weeks prior, so we'd all gone out individually, performed our pattern. We then did a makeshift kind of grand entry where we all had our flags lined up, and from there we got to go and get changed. We had interviews with the judges as well as a written exam. From there, we all had an interview with their local news, which was really cool. And then we got to go on a Harley ride. It gave us a bit of a deep breath, calmed down a little bit. That afternoon, we all went and got ready, hair and makeup and stuff like that for our final night. So we all got dressed up. Our families, sponsors, committees and everything like that were welcome to join. And that night we started off with another speech, mostly about Australia and what Australia and Australian rodeo means to us. After that, the judges were sort of already picking who they might like and whatnot, what they were looking for in people. We then had 2 questions drawn from a hat about issues around either rodeo or mostly rodeo, but in Australia as well, and then questions from the crowd. So I was fortunate enough to have 2 really good questions, which were close to my heart. And after that, I think there was maybe half an hour to 45 minutes before they made the final decision. Miss Rodeo 2017 did her signing off speech, and then they went through the process of crowning the horsemanship winner, the fundraiser winner, and the runner-up, and then we all stood up the front for the final decision.
Well, yeah, that kind of does sound like a lot about what we do here in the States, just a little different. And you were talking about your charity, which those are always an important aspect, and it's something that's near and dear to our heart. So it's just kind of like platforms for us over here.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, talking about you just recently being crowned, would you mind leaning forward so we can see your beautiful Miss Rodeo Australia crown?
Yeah, certainly.
Oh, it's so pretty.
It's very nice. So I'm the first girl to wear this crown. Montana Silversmith has kindly come on board for making our crown as well. So yeah, it's very exciting for me because I find it extremely gorgeous, and I'm the first one that gets to wear it. So that's very exciting.
Well, that's always good to be the first one to try out a new crown, and it is very pretty. Could we see your belt buckle if you wouldn't mind holding it for us?
Oops, it's upside down. So this is my Bob Burke buckle, which they've had since the beginning of restarting Miss Rodeo Australia.
Awesome, yeah. So pretty. Those are like our hardware. We love to show them off. You can never show them.
Definitely. Definitely.
Okay, so also speaking in the competition, so earlier we were talking about kind of how they have the little separate titles within the whole competition. So you have the first runner-up, you've got the fundraiser, the horsemanship, all those little ones that kind of go into that big aspect of it. So other than the actual title of Miss Rodeo Australia, can you elaborate on how those are chosen and what other titles you won?
Yeah, definitely. So I only won the overarching one, which I believe is fair as well, because all the girls, honestly, it was a really tough competition. They all had aspects that would definitely represent Australia amazingly. And in all honesty, there was not a point in the competition that I went, oh yeah, this is me, I've got this, I'm going to be the next Miss Rodeo Australia. So for me, and especially like in 3 short days, you made friendships with all those girls that I know that I can turn to if I need to, and it's definitely going to last a really long time, which was really cool. So the fundraising one component, we started fundraising from when we got our first title. So my first title was Miss Rodeo Peterborough, and I was crowned in February of 2017. Other girls were crowned a little bit later. I know that Warwick, they run their Queen Quest a little different. So they're Miss Warwick for a whole nother year before they run for Miss Rodeo Australia. And so you all work towards raising money in any way that you find is going to benefit yourself. Mine was, I ran a movie night. We seen Pitch Perfect, the new Pitch Perfect, which really helped me raise a lot of money. I had a gala dinner at home, and that was the week before I flew out, so I got to have family, friends and sponsors from around my area. We had a 3-course meal that we did ourselves at home to save a little bit of money and make the most of it as we could. We sold raffle tickets for boxes of horse gear, and then also the Peterborough Rodeo jumped on board and put me a part of their rodeo fundraiser, and that was for nights in hotels and a lot bigger prizes, but allowed me to take a bit of a cut from that as well and raise money for myself. I know other girls ran barrel races to raise money. They bought and sold things, got things sponsored and made a bit of a profit like that. And it was pretty much just as much as you could get together, work out yourself. That was your fundraising component. We also had Fallon Taylor come over in October of 2017 to the national finals. With that, they had got special shirts made. There was a lot left over from selling them at the finals that all the girls got as many shirts as they wanted. So I think I got 36 sent out to me, and I could sell them $25. So that's what I did to raise money as well. And so I think the fundraising component was mostly on how you did it, but as well as the funds that you raised. And then we split them straight down the middle, and half of what you raised went to the Miss Rodeo Australia for 2018 to cover costs and stuff like that, because we don't get to take the year off. So I still work full time. And then half goes to chosen charity. So that was your fundraising component. The horsemanship, as I said before, we had a test that was given to us, I think, maybe a month and a half before we went up to Warwick for the judging. You can practice it at home on your own horses, of course. And so the judges went out there. They had 4 judges, so they brought in more of a horsemanship judge to have a look at that side of things, how you work with the horse, how you adapt to getting on somebody else's horse, because obviously if you're traveling interstate, overseas, you don't get to take your horse everywhere with you. I'm very fortunate because I rodeo and compete all the time. I do have really my own grand entry horse, and he's my dad's rope horse. But a lot of girls obviously don't have that opportunity. And yeah, so that was that. And then I don't 100% know how they picked who was going to be the runner-up and the winner, because it was really tough, really tough.
Oh yeah, competitions are always tough and they're always really close. So
Yeah.
talking about the fundraising aspect, this is a really great topic to hit on, because I know a lot of state queens here in the U.S. will also do fundraising to help offset their costs throughout their year as a state queen and to help them get ready for Miss Rodeo America. Is there any little tips or tricks you could give our viewers about just fundraising or finding sponsorships that you found that work?
Yeah, well, I definitely, one of my biggest parts, especially like saying that fundraising is huge, and I know a lot of girls would pick like this, but definitely pick something close to your heart. Like, everybody likes to fundraise. I know that with our rodeo committees, my barrel racing committees, we fundraise to get better prizes, or we do fundraise a lot for the Royal Flying Doctors as well. But, you know, if you can find something that's really deep and you're like, yes, I want to make a difference for them, it definitely makes it a lot easier. Finding people that will help you along the way to help fundraise, don't be afraid to ask. I, before this, had never really fundraised much at all. So it was just, you know, being a part of committees, whereas this was a big thing for me to make some own decisions, but also have people that understood how to fundraise, what the do's and don'ts were, and that's what made it a lot easier for me. Finding little things like, you know, going to your local fodder or feed store or tack store and just talking to them about, you know, why you want to fundraise, what you want to do. If you can go to bigger committees, I didn't have the opportunity to talk to a lot of bigger sponsors. I know that a lot of girls up north, like, they got car dealerships to help them. And if you can really get in there and help people, it's not only going to make a difference to better yourself and chances of winning, especially your fundraising component, but making a difference for your chosen charity.
Oh yes, any kind of fundraising will not only help you, but it can also help a bunch of different people.
Yeah, that's right.
So being a rodeo queen, we have a lot of products that we use on our skin, on our hair, makeup. Do you have any favorites that you would like to share with us today?
Yeah, well, there's a funny story. I really, before this time, I wore makeup and everything like that, but I definitely was not good at the makeup, the hair curling. I keep my hair straight when I'm competing because it's a lot easier. And then afterwards, I have to go into a sponsor's tent, so later on, I'll go and curl my hair. One of my sponsors that's come on board with Miss Rodeo Australia over the past couple of years is Nutrimedics, and I do have that with me. They have a new Flawless Air Serum Foundation. So I'll hold this up for you, I think, if you can see it. Kind of. And so this, you put 3 drops on a specialized brush, which I apologize, has all my makeup all over it. Has an indentation in it so that I can't use too much makeup, which is, for me, excellent, because I, at a point in time, didn't know the difference between too much and not a lot, because I didn't really know what I was doing. And I also, the lipstick I'm wearing today is Nutrimedics, and it's called the Burgundy. It's 14436, but it's my favorite, definitely for my skin. So Nutrimetics is definitely what I use, black and blue now. Not only that they're sponsors, but their products go really nicely on my skin. I have really oily skin, and I have a lot of trouble, especially rodeoing. Like today, it's going to be 31, 32 here, which I don't actually know how that changes to Fahrenheit, but it's quite warm for us. And so usually my makeup's melting off my face, and I have a lot of trouble trying to keep it on, whereas Nutrimetics sits on my face really nice, and I don't have that trouble anymore.
Oh yeah, makeup, Rodeo Queen makeup, Rodeo Queen hair can always be a struggle for all of us. And it's definitely a learning process that we all have to kind of figure out what works for us and take little tips and tricks from everybody and kind of see what works for you, what doesn't work for you. So it's definitely a combination of everything.
Yeah, definitely. And dry shampoo has definitely become my best friend since winning as well, for styling as well. But no, I definitely have to show a lot of appreciation to the girls that I contested with for actually teaching me a lot that I know now.
Yes. The girls you compete with will always give you some lessons, good, bad, indifferent, but you can always learn a lot from your competitors and through any competition from win or lose.
That's right. Definitely.
All right. So we're going to kind of wind it down here because I know you're getting ready to go out to some slack. So they're probably going to be expecting you soon. But is there any tips or advice that we didn't cover here that you'd like to kind of share with everybody today?
There's not too much, just that especially for cowgirls that are like me, that compete but they don't think they can do the queen thing, like get involved. I understand, especially over there, your girls work hard for over the year before even running for Miss Rodeo America, and there's, you know, they're all about knowing what to do, say and speak, but those cowgirls that are sort of in there don't really know much. Like I honestly didn't know much about makeup or how to talk properly. Speaking in public was a huge thing for me, but give it a go. Like it honestly in the last 3 weeks has changed my life already, and I'm so excited for the year ahead. And I just think that if you really want to have a go at something, just keep working for it. Like whether it's to be a queen or anything, a lot of people are scared to give anything a go. Just if you want to do it, work hard. And like honestly, I thought I was the bottom of the pecking order, and now I am Miss Rodeo Australia, and I get to have all of these adventures now. So.
Oh yes, definitely working hard, never quitting, and don't give up on your dreams. That is a big aspect and a big driving force. And you never know till you're right there and you're trying to compete whether or not it's something that you would be interested in. And you don't know if you do it. So get out there and definitely try rodeo queening. Whether it's for you or whether it's just not meant to be, you never know till you do it. And I promise you, from me and from Dakota, like you're probably gonna like it once you get into it, and the connection, the people you meet, and the help that you receive throughout your year as a rodeo queen, whether it's a local, a state, or a national title, is definitely life changing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Mine's been in 3 weeks. A lot has changed for me. And all the girls say you have such a big year and it's so different for you and you'll learn so much. And you think, yeah, that's cool. Like, that'll be exciting. But honestly, 3 weeks and I know so many more people, the sponsors that come on board, that's really exciting. And people want to know about you now, which is really cool. Like, I was no one before. I was just a girl that went to a rodeo. And I competed. I made the finals last year, which was really exciting. This year I'm running for my rookie title as well as being Miss Rodeo Australia. So it's a big year for me, but it's so exciting that I can share that with people too.
That's good. We're so excited you were able to share a little bit of your time with Queens and Jeans today. And we look forward to the rest of your journeys and for you coming over to the States here in just a few short months. So we'll look forward to seeing you in Cheyenne and all of your other travels.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time and thank you for having me.
All right, everybody. We have had a very interesting talk and a very well advised talk with Miss Rodeo Australia, Dakota Michaelis. And we will see you next time on Queens and Jeans, bringing you some more national title holders.